Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I am so glad you clicked on today's video. Today we are talking about the 20 books that I want to read in 2026. Alright guys, so I know there's been a reoccurring theme of like 21 books in 2021, 22 books in 2022, and so on and so forth. But we're getting really high up there, okay? This next year is 2026, and that would mean 26 books. And I just feel like that's a lot to have and to try to like accurately accomplish. And it's just gonna get more outrageous every year. So I am just slicing it down and making an even 20 books that I want to read in 2026. And if you would like to also do this thing, I highly encourage you to. Even if the popular booktubers keep doing it and they're doing 26, 27, 20, you don't have to kill yourself, okay? I'm just putting that out there. Anyway, I'm just gonna kind of rapid fire through these a little bit. I'm not going to go into too much detail because I feel like it would be a super long video, and some of these I don't know a ton about anyway, because if y'all have been here for a while, you might know that I don't like to read summaries on books a lot of times, and sometimes that bites me in the butt, but a lot of times I also really enjoy not knowing a lot about a book, and I end up loving it when I don't know too much. So I'm gonna keep it that way, even if it does bite me in the butt every now and then. Okay, so the first book that I want to read in 2026 is Anne of Windy Willows. This is by Ellen Montgomery. It is the fourth book in the Anne of Green Gables series, and I believe this goes by a couple of different names. I think one is Windy Populars. I don't remember, okay? I got that mom brain 24/7, okay? So sorry about that, but I want to read this one. It's the fourth one, and I'm slowly going through this series. I really enjoy it. It's not quite a 5 stars like series all around yet for me. 2 of the 3 that I've read have been 5 stars. So we will see how the series continues to go. All right, and then the second book that I want to read in the year 2026 is The Turquoise Table. This is by Kristen Schell. This is actually one of my bonus books in my Christian nonfiction book club for the upcoming year. So I got picked out 4 really short bonus books that everybody can read for each quarter along with the month books if they would like to. It's not a requirement. It's just an extra little fun thing if you want to, if you're crazy like me and want to add more nonfiction books to read. So this is one that's really short. I plan to get it through my library as an audiobook because I think it's only 3 or 4 hours long. So I'm excited to check out that one. It's basically just kind of about hospitality, I believe, in like gospel hospitality in light of the Bible, that type of thing. But yeah, excited about that. Number 3 is The Love Audit by Anna Conwell. She is an author that I've heard very good things about, but I've never checked out myself. And The Love Audit is one that I've heard quite a few here on YouTube really love and enjoy. I believe book lover Amanda is one of those who, like, this was one of her very favorites. So it's been on my radar for a while, and I was like, why not? I need to read it. Might as well just read it this year. Number 4 is The Last Sin Eater. This is by Francine Rivers. It's one of her older ones, I believe, and this was actually a recommendation by a dear friend of mine. She's also the one that recommended The Atonement Child to me. We worked together at a pregnancy center, so I really enjoyed The Atonement Child, and so I really want to get to this other recommendation of hers this coming year. All right, number 5 is Edenbrook by Juliana Davidson, I think. And this is a Regency romance, which I'm not sure if I will love Regency romance or not. We will see. But this is one that I've heard a lot of good and great things about. I do not think it is Christian. I think it is just completely like clean. I'm gonna try it out. All right, number 6 is Everything's Coming Up Rosie by Courtney Walsh. Courtney Walsh is a Christian, but not all of her books are like Christian books, I believe. This is kind of rom-com-y, I think, but it also like literary fiction a little bit because it follows a girl who becomes the director of like a play, but at a senior home. So I love theater. So when I heard Courtney Walsh was coming out with a book about theater and set in that like tone and environment, I knew I had to get into it, but I have not been able to get to it this year, and I definitely plan to next year. The next book is Next to You. This is the third book in the Secrets of River Hollow series by Dulcie Dameron. I really, really loved the first book. The second book is kind of just a short novella, and I liked it okay. But I'm excited to continue this series because I loved the first book so much. I believe this one is supposed to be another full-length book, and so I'm really excited to get back into it. And the next one is This Present Darkness by Frank Peretti. This is a favorite book of my brother's, and he's been telling me I need to read it for years. My husband has also read it. Yeah, my brother was telling me I needed to read it forever, and then he also told my husband, and my husband actually read it right away. So sorry about that, Connor, but I plan to read it this year, and I'm really excited. I've heard great things about Frank Peretti. All right, and the next one is A Menagerie of Dragons. This is Christine Bear's new release that's coming out next year, and it's set in the same tone as the Secret of Ormdale series, but a different generation. So I'm really excited for this one. All right, and the next one is The Legends of Nesher. I really hope I didn't just butcher that pronunciation or say the name wrong, but this is by Cheney Hobson. It is the second book in I'm not sure. Does this have? Yes, the Redemption Pirates series. I was like, what is the series name of the Redemption Pirates series? I read the first one this year in October, and it was a 5-star read for me. I really, really loved it. This is a Christian fantasy book that takes place on an island that kind of gives you Lost vibes at first. That book was really, really fun for me, and I'm so excited to get into the second book of this upcoming year. All right, and the next book is The Betrayal of Eden. This is by an Erin Phillips. She is a Christian fantasy author that I've had my eye on for a while, but I haven't checked out any of her works. This in particular is the first book of a series that she's currently working on, and it gives Count of Monte Cristo vibes. Like, I think it's actually a retelling kind of Count of Monte Cristo. I could be wrong, but Count of Monte Cristo vibes, either way, retelling or just vibes. I love that classic, so I was like so excited when I heard about it, and I had to put it on my list for next year. All right, and the next is A War of Crowns by Ashley Willingham. This is also a Christian fantasy author, and this is the first in a series. I've heard it compared to Game of Thrones, but for Christians, which is kind of intriguing because Game of Thrones is a really big thing. Never been that interested in it, honestly, at all, to even try to check it out myself. But I know a lot of people who like love it, or who are like, oh, well, without the whatever stuff, it's really good. And I was like, well, yeah, then just don't put the whatever stuff in it. Anyway, but this is Christian, so it doesn't have the whatever stuff in it. So when I heard my sweet friend Kay talking and raving about this book, I just knew I had to put it on my list for next year and get to it. All right, and then the next book on my list is The Blue Castle by Ellen Montgomery. This is not in the Anne series. It's one of her standalones, but it is one that I've heard a lot of high praise about and seen a lot of people just loving it, and I feel like I would love it too because I love Ellen Montgomery's writing style. So I got it, and I'm so excited to get into it this upcoming year. All right, next is Praying Effectively for the Lost by Lee E. Thomas. This is another of those short little books that are add-ons to my nonfiction book club for the next year, and I'm just excited to get to this one. This was actually recommended by one of my previous pastors at another church by his wife, and she was super kind. They were doing kind of like a ministry thing, just like, hey, we have decided that anybody who wants this book, we are going to send a copy to. So they bought a whole bunch of copies to a ton of people, and I so graciously was able to get one from them. So excited to check it out. All right, and then the next book might surprise some people, but that is When the Day Comes by Gabrielle Meyer. Honestly, I'm intrigued, okay? I am intrigued. So many people have been loving this series to death, and I will never know if I don't check it out for myself. So I'm not like, I like a good dual timeline, so, and I've liked some time travel stuff, so I could like it. We'll see. Sometimes I'm the unpopular opinion, but I want to try it out. I want to at least try it out. So I'm going to plan to try it out this upcoming year. And then we have Positively Penelope by Pepper Basham. This is the second in the Skymore series. The first is Authentically Izzy, and I really, really, really enjoyed that one. And Penelope is the theater lover in this family, so I'm so excited to read her book and it is on my list for next year, so that I absolutely will. All right, and then the next book is Parenting. This is by Paul David Tripp. This is just a nonfiction that I threw on here for myself outside of my book club. I like to have a few of those, but I wanted at least one that was on my list for the year. And this one is like 14 gospel principles that it's going through. Haven't heard anybody really talk about this book, but it's one that I'd gotten quite a few years ago. So it's been sitting on my TBR for a while, and I want to get through it this year. All right, and then I have The Return of the King, which is the final book in the Lord of the Rings trilogy. I am currently reading The Two Towers with a friend of mine, so I will hopefully have it read by the end of the year, if not very early next year is my goal. And then I want to read the conclusion to the series, and I'm very excited. All right, and then next I have A Soul as Cold as Frost. This is by Jennifer Kropf, I think. I'm probably saying her name wrong, but this has been referred to as a like Chronicles of Narnia-esque type of vibes. It's also a Christian fantasy author, so I've been like really interested in it. And yeah, I've just had my eye on it for a while. I don't know much else besides that, but I'm putting it on my list so that I can finally get to it this coming year. And then last but certainly not least, because it is one that I am probably the most excited about, like if not the most excited about, one of the most excited about, and that is The Pilgrim's Progress by John Bunyan. I am so excited to finally get to this book. This is a Christian allegory book, and from what I've heard from very respected people, it's one of the best Christian allegories that there is out there ever written. So I am so excited. This is another one that my brother recommended to me years ago. My husband since read it and has been recommending it to me ever since he has read it, and I'm so excited to get into it. I know a little bit of the story, but I haven't read it for myself, so I'm just really excited to buckle down and actually enjoy and soak in the richness of that story this year. All right, guys, so that is the 20 books that I plan to read in 2026. At least some of the ones I am most excited about are my top priority and are on my radar. I would love to hear if any of these are also on your radar, and if you'd love to leave me your whole list, please do down in the comments. I'd love to see it. But otherwise, if you have nothing to say, just please share one of the hand hearts that I know you made it this far, and like and subscribe if you aren't already, so that we can have more fun here on the channel. I appreciate you guys so much. See you guys in my next video. Merry Christmas!